Hey guys, welcome back. We're back in the studio for another video. We're gonna talk today about comparing my life in Sri Lanka, my life in Korea, my life and my time in Philippines, and my thoughts on Canada. So comparing the four places together, and I'm gonna let you know what I think and which one I think is better. And this is just my opinion, my thoughts. So why don't you guys join me? Thank you. So today we're going to talk about what it is that I dislike about each of the four countries that I've lived in over the last 55 years of my life. I'm Sri Lankan Sammi, and I want to thank everyone for joining me today. I am a Sri Lankan citizen, Canadian citizen. I've lived the last 14 years in South Korea. I left Canada in 2009, and the last 6 months I was living in, the last 18 months I've been living in Sri Lanka, and the last 6 months I was living in Philippines. So I'm back in Sri Lanka now for the next at least year before I decide on the next place. I'm semi-retired, working in South Korea online as a digital nomad, and semi-retired here in the beaches of Sri Lanka, living life. So I'm going to talk to you today about my impressions. So first of all, I left Canada in 2009. So things have changed in Canada since I left. They've changed a lot. I don't really pay attention to the news, to what's going on in Canada. But Canada was a great country to grow up in. I grew up in Toronto. And I grew up north of Toronto in a small town, and I lived in Toronto. I lived there my whole life. I never lived anywhere else. I lived in Mississauga, Milton, Bronte, Toronto, and Bradford. So, but most of my time was spent as below a teenager. I don't know. I wasn't happy in Canada. When I left Canada in 2009 and moved to South Korea, wow, how happy I became there. I loved living in South Korea. Now, it is expensive in South Korea. And unless you can find a good job and make good friends, not with foreigners, but with locals, because foreigners leave. And I stayed for 14 years, and I have friends for 14 years. Okay, all except one are Korean. The rest, the one person who is a foreigner is a guy who I met like literally the first week I was there, and he got married and ended up staying. Canadian guy. So he's the only foreigner that I know for long-term friend. I do have some foreigner friends that I made, but they're short-term, and I made friends with them, but they've all left. I went back to South Korea a month ago for 2 weeks, and everyone I met were all my Korean friends. There wasn't really anybody else left. They've all gone. or moved on or got married or done whatever. You know, I watch the the Facebook stream of my friends, and you know, they're married with kids, or you know, just moving on with their lives. So, you know, Korea was probably the best place I've ever lived from a lifestyle perspective. It's modern, it's clean, it's safe. I had a great time. And now that was more to do with the job I had. I ran a nightclub. I mean, who wouldn't love a job like that? You get to socialize and drink every night. Now you can't keep that up for very long without being unhealthy. So yeah, you know, it was a good life. I enjoyed it. You guys can check out the videos. And speaking of videos, I really do appreciate and love everyone who is commenting, liking, sharing. Join me, why don't you, on my Discord server. Click the link down below. Support me in my philanthropic endeavors by joining a membership, or join me on Sundays for the live stream. The live stream on Sundays is a lot of fun. We get together with people and we just chat, we hang out. All right, join me there. Thanks again for everybody about that. But Korea was great. I will give it a double thumbs up for Korea. Philippines. I spent 6 months in Philippines in Subic Bay. I traveled to Cebu as well for a week, and I traveled around Angeles City and northern Luzon Island. Philippines is great. I really loved it. What I didn't like about it compared to Sri Lanka is it's, I guess, what I don't want to say, there's nothing negative to say. It's just that when you don't have a visa and don't have a citizenship and you don't speak the language, it's difficult to assimilate. Now in Korea, I spoke the language and I had a permanent residence, so it was a little bit different. I was as close to being Korean as there is possible without being a citizen. And I was generally accepted by most people. Society as a whole, no. I mean, that's a different cultural thing, but my Korean friends accepted me because I assimilated. In the Philippines, they're used to foreigners, and not everyone, but because it's a poorer country, they look at foreigners in a different way than they do in South Korea. South Korea is a rich country. Now, will I go back to Philippines? I talked about this before. Probably not, because it's so far away from Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka is my home base because I'm a citizen. So I'm not going to go back and forth to the Philippines. If I'm going to do any place and visit, is going to be Thailand, so I can meet my friends halfway. So my Korean friends can come and meet me in Thailand. I have friends in Thailand. You guys have seen me last time I was in Thailand. I met up with my friend Alex, who is friends with my friends from Korea, from the military, from the Philippines. I met him in the Philippines as well. He was there getting some surgery. So, you know, I have these friends all over the world who I can hang out with and, you know, get away from Sri Lanka for a little while. So my plan is to, you know, do that, because for me, Thailand is only one flight away, 3.5 hours. Philippines, I have to, I can't take a direct flight, and it's like 6 hours. but I'm enjoying my life here. You know, every weekend I go out for dinner someplace else. You guys have seen those videos. Those videos have come out of me going for dinner and with my family and with my cousins and everything like that. So I'm making a few friends here. So I just recently made friends with a DJ. So I'm planning on meeting up with him in September. He's doing a record release party, so I want to hang out at that. I've also made friends with a motorcycle club here. So once I get a motorcycle, I'm going to be joining them on some adventures and join them for their support that they do, you know, charity things and stuff like that. And hopefully start up riding again, you know, so that I can socialize more. So, you know, which one is the best? As a single guy with no children, no relationship, I would say Philippines or Thailand, like, you know, Vietnam, Cambodia, those kinds of countries, great. If you're semi-retired or a digital nomad and you want to live on the beach and you want to live cheap, you live in one of these Southeast Asian countries or South Asian countries, right? Bali, Philippines, Thailand, wherever, okay? You guys know, you've seen all the videos. I don't need to go into which one. If you have a family, then Canada or Korea are good. If you have a family and you want a good education system, good health care, and relatively safe, the safest, obviously, Japan or Korea. But Canada if you're Western, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I would say Korea is a great place to raise a family. Great place. You can find international schools. You can raise your kids pretty 99.9% safe. And a very rich country as well. I mean, the medical care there. Oh, I've shown you guys the videos before about the medical care. I think I'm going to do a video about that. About the medical care in South Korea. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm so glad I still have my health care. And I may go back in 2 years and do my cancer screening, which is free. I mean, it'll be worth it because it's like $1,000 worth of medical treatment that you get for free. But my medical insurance, which is about $150 a month, is paid for by my company. I don't pay for it. So I'm still covered, even though I don't live in South Korea. So that's a great thing. I love it. Yeah, so I want to thank everybody for sticking around and watching. Please comment. Let me know what you think, okay? If you have any questions, if you have any comments or concerns or opinions, let me know. Click the like button, click the share button, click that bell and subscribe if you really, really like. And if you want to support, please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. It will go towards buying food from a local farmer, which I will match and support the local economy. Sri Lankan Sammi, learn to live life. Don't let life live you. I am out.